so proud of your president, and I don't care about that. But you are going to be so proud of your country because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more.
Good morning, Warriors. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite crypto news channel, Good Morning Crypto, where we bring you the most relevant and impactful crypto-related topics from a top crypto research team in the world. And yes, we're talking about some serious topics this morning because, first of all, this is the first day of the next 4 years. Donald Trump completed his inauguration last night, becoming the 47th president of the United States. Crypto investors around the world were celebrating, Mario. We're going to talk about the meme coin. We're going to talk about XRP. We're going to talk about Ripple and XRP building the base layer for national banking. There's also a really interesting clip we're going to be breaking down later in the episode where JD Vance was at the crypto ball, walks right up to Brad Garlinghouse on camera, shakes his hand, says hello. Great friends doing great things. That's what I like to say. We're going to provide a bunch of fun content for today. And I want to give a massive thank you to every single person who watched yesterday's 12-hour stream. We had some phenomenal interviews. John Deaton, Jeremy Hogan, Linda P. Jones. There's so many digital asset investor. There's so many amazing people that we got to speak with yesterday. So I want to give a huge thank you to not only the people who participated, but every single person who joined us and watched. So massive thank you to everyone who's joining us today. And we're going to keep the same promise we always do here on GMC. If we break 750 likes, we're going to be doing a little bit of overtime this morning, regardless of the fact that we started nearly 25 minutes late. Now, we are in DC. We're at an Airbnb. We got to get through some Wi-Fi issues. So it's not that we overslept, but I did want to give a huge thank you to every single person who joined us. And Mario, those are some of the exciting topics we're going to be breaking down. Quick recap, we got Bitcoin at 105,000, Ethereum's 3,300, Solana is 245, but XRP, $3.17. And believe it or not, that is a very positive thing for the XRP community. We're going to talk about the price levels we're holding, building a new range here before we break out once again. So we already got 4,000 live listeners here joining us. Show us some love, smash that like button, and get ready for a great episode today. We had plenty of time to prepare. We got plenty of topics to talk about, but Mario, Donald Trump is the 47th president. How are you feeling this morning? And what's your outlook on crypto as we head into this next administration?
Good morning, Abs. Good morning, Johnny. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing amazing. Listen, Abs did a lot of talking yesterday. He did need some prep this morning just to be able to come on here and do some more talking. But first of all, let me just say this. Johnny, Abs, you guys did amazing yesterday. Like really, it was a different format, so it was really awesome to see you both doing it. Johnny, hilarious as always. I love the Johnny Washington over there. That you really killed it with that persona. You really made a lot of people laugh. You made me laugh, so that was awesome. But just very, congratulations to the both of you, and obviously great job. That was really cool. That was a historical event. And it was really great to see you both be a part of that historical event. And so super excited to be here. I know we're talking a lot about crypto. Today is day one of the new president. And I know that the one thing that a lot of people in crypto are anticipating is, when is crypto going to be addressed? When is the elephant in the room going to be addressed for President Trump? A lot of people were expecting something to already be spoken about yesterday. I honestly was not surprised to not hear the word crypto in anything that happened yesterday. But I think that the upcoming weeks, something is very prime. The XRP chart is kind of like how blockchain backers have been calling it, is on that second bull flag. And apparently what happens at the end of that second bull flag is pretty exciting. But nonetheless, let's have an awesome show.
Massive thank you to Mario, guys. We already got 5,000 people here. We are going to be talking about Ripple and the XRP ledger becoming the base layer for national banking. And I want to give a big shout out to not only everyone who came on stream, everybody who joined us in the live chat or just watched yesterday's episode. Thank you for supporting us. It was so much fun being in studio together. And I think we're going to do a lot more exciting projects like that in the future. I also want to let our listeners know about something else. So tomorrow night, I have been invited to an event. Thank you to Dagnum, right? Constellation Project. I want to be very outspoken about this. I'm super thankful. I'm going to be providing you guys some behind the scenes access with United States politicians. Can't talk too much about it today. I'll provide some more details on it tomorrow, but trust me, this could be the biggest insight you've ever had or I've ever had on Good Morning Crypto. So I'm really excited to be breaking that down. Remember, guys, we're already over 1,000 listeners. If you're enjoying the show, show us some love. Smash that like button. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Johnny Krypto as well. Now, Johnny, what we're going to be breaking down at the beginning of today's show is this viral Mark Yusko clip. And I want to give a huge shout out to our friend Mark for not only joining us on Friday, but always continuing to bring the positive energy and great conversation. So big shout out to Mark Yusko. But Johnny Krypto, Johnny Washington, Tony Cannoli, whatever you'd like to call him this morning. Happy to see you, Johnny. How are you feeling and what's your reaction? I think we're going to talk a lot about crypto, but maybe the most important thing for today, Donald Trump, 47th president of the United States.
Yes, he is. Absolutely. And good morning to all the Warrior Maniacs out there. We love and appreciate you guys who showed up yesterday and stood there like troopers and warriors for 12 hours with us. It was fantastic. It was historic, just like Trump's inauguration was. Abs was well worth it. And Mario, thank you so much for the kind words. You're a true brother. And it wasn't the same without you. But in the future, you'll be there with us. No question about it. We love and we miss you yesterday. But, shout out to everybody, Abs. It was truly an amazing day, historic for everything, all around for, I think, the crypto industry, for America, and for all of us. So I'm really, really excited about the future. I'm really, really excited about 2025 and beyond. I can't wait to see what it has in store for us in the future.
We've also got some brand new Bank of America content we're going to be premiering from Davos, guys. But I wanted to get this thing started on a strong note. And I want to give a huge shout out to Mario. Mario, we love you. We actually can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Can't tell you how proud we are to call you our friend. So hashtag Mario's in the chat. They call him the best in the game. I call him Rico Suave. Some are calling him Money Mario after that Trump trade this weekend. So we're going to be talking about the Trump coin as well, guys. People were frustrated. My DMs were flooded with frustrated investors surprised that Trump would launch a meme coin. We may provide a little bit of positive insight because I think this is going to drive tons of new investors into the crypto market over these next few years. But with that being said, this is Brad Garlinghouse discussing what needs to happen for their business model to thrive inside the United States.
Other macro factors. I go back to kind of first principles around big picture. What do we need for this industry to thrive? We need regulatory clarity. We need lots of utility. We need to be solving problems at scale, not experiments, not possibilities. But look, I look at the excitement. Have you heard some of that on this stage in the past 2 days around tokenization? I look at, I just think if you zoom out and look at what do the next 5 or 10 years look like for this industry, I'm extremely optimistic. And I think people will be surprised. There's a Silicon Valley expression that people often overestimate what's going to happen in 5 years, but underestimate what happens in 10. There are, kind of macro exponential forces that I think really will continue to catapult this industry.
There you have it, Mario. People overestimate what happens in 5 years, but they underestimate what happens in 10. And I wanted to play that clip as a lead up to what we're going to get into next, guys. The title of today's episode is Ripple and XRP, the base layer for national banking. And you're going to find this really interesting, Mario. So yesterday, Greg Kidd joined the stream. Greg Kidd is a renowned billionaire investor, tech entrepreneur. He said that if he could tell people like us one thing, is that the friction in the national banking system is going away. $7 trillion a year are made just from transferring money from one bank to another, especially when you consider cross-border transactions. Well, Greg Kidd said that that is soon to be a thing of the past. And with that being said, I would love to get into this video from our friend Mark Yusko, because Mark said something that we've heard him indicate before, but never be so outspoken about the issue. This would make the XRP people very happy. There's some talk that XRP could be utilized or ordered to be used as a central bank digital currency or as a base layer for national banking. Now, people hear CBDCs and they cringe, as do I, Mario. But the reality here is Donald Trump is willing to meet with Ripple's team members, not because of the lawsuit against Gary Gensler, not because of the war on crypto, but because I believe that Ripple is going to play a pivotal role in the American economy under Trump's administration. We saw it in the first 60 days. Since election, the XRP token is up from 49 cents in value all the way, even amidst this pullback, to $3.17 in value this morning. That is over 500% gains in less than 90 days. So there must be something going on behind the scenes. There must be something that large investors know that retail investors are not yet privy to. That is what we're going to be breaking down next for two reasons, right? We're going to show you this video from Mark Yusko. Then we're going to show you another video from Bank of America CEO yesterday in Davos saying this. Someone commented, "Abs is AI." I'm absolutely a real human being. In Davos, talking about how Bank of America is going to be moving to integrate crypto technology, which is so exciting. Thank you so much for everybody joining us. So this is our friend Mark Yusko. We got 8,000 people here, 1,200 on YouTube. If you're enjoying the show, show us some love. Smash that like button, guys. The way I find the energy is through a lot of black coffees, a lot of espressos. That's how we get it done here on Good Morning Crypto. But with that being said, this is our friend Mark Yusko discussing how XRP could be used as a base layer for national banking.
The one piece of legislation that is likely to happen, the other stuff, there's a lot of talk that they'll expand beyond just Bitcoin to now, XRP and Cardano and Hedera. And look, those founders have been buddying up to the administration and to Eric, and I think Eric's driving a lot of this, his son. So we'll see. But the case for the strategic Bitcoin reserve, because Bitcoin is digital gold, everything else has different roles. Something that could happen. I don't know if it'll happen the first 100 days, Abs, but there's some talk. This will make the XRP people really happy. There is some talk that XRP could be utilized and or ordered to be used for a central bank digital currency or as the base layer for national banking. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but that's one that if that does happen, that changes things. It's kind of like,
you heard it right there, Mario. A guy like Mark Yusko would not be making these statements to hype up the community. He's not making these statements because he's in the XRP community or he wants the Ripple ledger to do well. The reason he is saying this is because he knows things are happening behind the scenes. I want to give a big shout out to Gonzo as well. Gonzo, we love and appreciate you. I'm pretty sure Gonzo will be joining us later. If not, still love and appreciate you. So whatever happens, Gonzo, join us if you can. Don't join us if you can't. We are always appreciative when Gonzo joins the show. We already have 9,000 people here. Let us know in the chat what you think of Mark Yusko's statements. I'm going to go to Mario. We'll go to Johnny, and then I'll share some of my thoughts. But here's the sentiment overall. Ripple's team has met with the top of the echelon when it comes to the United States government. There's a reason that's happening, and it's not because of Gary Gensler. So floor is yours, Mario. Then we'll go to Johnny.
Well, that's a very different statements from Mark Yusko. We know he's been very critical of XRP over the years that we've had him on the show. Recently, we've actually been finding that his comments have been really shifting from a negative, dismissive perspective to really starting to maybe pay attention. And obviously what we just heard him say in that clip, I mean, that's as close as we've ever gotten as far as like Mark basically admitting that there is something big happening around Ripple and XRP. And honestly, I think that this is only going to become more predominant as we progress throughout the year. And the one thing is, we XRP investors and also advocates who have been researching and talking about XRP for years, we've been connecting the dots. We've been showcasing how Ripple's been creating these solutions. They've got these massive partners. So we've been speculating that at some point, this could continue to expand and explode into the US, or I guess expand more in the US. And obviously now that we're entering a new phase of crypto in America, this is unprecedented. We've never had a situation before where crypto was being embraced as far as regulation and as far as everything in the United States. And we don't know what this is going to mean for these projects specifically, but we know it's going to be bullish. We know that it's ultimately going to lead to more adoption. So I think that we can expect more and more contrarians, more and more people who are not for XRP and Ripple to really start to change their mind. Because, I mean, how could you not change your mind and become bullish on a technology that's being put at the forefront of the evolution of how the finance system works with institutions? And specifically over the last few months, we've seen a lot of developments come out of Ripple and the connections that they have with the current president. We can say current president is off yesterday, Donald Trump. There's a lot of connections. I mean, you got to be bullish. I don't think that all this stuff is by chance. It's just, it took a really special group of individuals. And when I say this, I'm referring to the entire crypto community, whether you're an educator and live on YouTube or not, or you're just somebody that's on our live stream. It took a special individual to see something there. And so a lot of people like Mark Yusko over the years were just dismissive because they were in the, for lack of a better term, kind of this bandwagon of Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, right? They've always been pretty vocal about those three. But for some reason, XRP was always skipped. And I think that we're getting to a point where you can no longer ignore the elephant in the room, right? And the elephant in the room is that XRP is, you know, creating significant impact. And obviously, Ripple is creating significant impact.
Absolutely agree, Mario. And we saw it in Washington, D.C. throughout the week as well. Johnny, these are three of the banners that were actually in Washington, D.C. for Trump's inauguration. You had the Ripple TVs in the train station. You had a massive Ripple banner on the side of this building. And of course, we saw plenty of advertising on the side of the road as well. Here's a third example of how Ripple is all over Washington, D.C. And I showed you a video last night. I'm going to cue it up for our listeners as well after your response, where J.D. Vance walks right up to Brad Garlinghouse. This is a still image on January 19th, less than 48 hours ago, shakes his hand. There's just something there, Johnny. And me and you talked about it last night off camera, obviously. We're like, that's the type of energy you give somebody who you're friends with, who you've had conversations with. That's not a stranger type of handshake. So what was your reaction to Mark Yusko talking about the inevitability of XRP possibly being leveraged for a CBDC or for a national or for a base layer for national banking here? Floor is yours, and then we'll continue.
So I guess I'm different from the rest of our chat in this aspect. I was where everybody's kind of angry at Mark or hates Mark or doesn't like Mark or can't understand Mark. And guys, you got to be more open-minded. I'm very open-minded, Abs. Mark came on the show the very first time we met him, and the first thing he said was, I change my mind all the time. He said it. He goes, as new information comes in, I change my mind. You know what? I do the same thing. So I respect that. So I understand Mark and where he's coming from. That's number one. Number two, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi at all. As you all know, we're all crypto maxis here. I'm a crypto maxi. I have a shit ton of crypto all over, diversified in 20 different segments, Abs. It's really, really big. It's going to be good. And so, you know, basically, when Mark comes on and he said, Mark told us from day one, I'm not in XRP, not because I don't believe it's going to be something in the future. Everyone's like, oh, Mark's going to get it. He hasn't figured 6 months. No, Mark made a strategic decision when they picked the cryptos they were going to invest in. They said, if it is more than, I forgot the number they chose. I don't remember the criteria. If it was 50% or 80%, if it wasn't so much percent decentralized, they didn't want to invest in it. Pure and simple. That's it. They cut it out. Boom. They put it to the side. They said, we're only going to invest in these and boom, boom, boom. And that's what they did. That's what, I'm not going to criticize the guy that runs a $3 billion hedge fund and has billions of dollars. And here we are sitting there, you know, trying to end, you know, we're not sitting there billionaires, right? So let's not criticize him. Let's look at it and say, okay, understood. He made a decision, had a certain criteria. He invested in this criteria, and XRP didn't cut that criteria. Very, very simple. Understood. Now, what Mark is trying to tell you, he ain't telling you he's coming in, guys, and he's going to go invest in XRP tomorrow. He's saying, guys, I know people. I hear things. And he's hearing, Abs, that very, very well possible that there's some things going on behind the scenes that to us, we expect it because the reason why we invested in it is because what he said is coming. We've all been thinking it's coming. He just added another layer of potential validation through hearsay that we're just another step potentially closer to what we all believe in the first place. So that everybody should take Mark's comment as not that he's flipping, but more so, Abs, he just validated or kind of gave us another layer of validation of why we all believe XRP could potentially be the one. And everybody should be excited about that, in my opinion.
You know what I like about this take, Johnny? Somebody commented in the chat. So at the end of the day, he's got more money than most of us, so he never cared to invest in XRP. And I think it's a great reason, even though that may sound, let me explain it and then feel free to disagree, right? I think a lot of people like Gary Cardone, when we've had an opportunity to speak with them, have not even been open to listening to ideas about XRP because they think there's too much risk. When you have $100 million, $300 million, $1 billion, you're not in the game of finding another 12x. You're in the game of preserving your wealth. That's why a lot of these people are so excited about Bitcoin, because year over year, Mario, Bitcoin does 29% on average. And we're going to talk about XRP next, guys, because there's another person, Da Vinci here, who's been very critical of the XRP community. Well, he put this out over the weekend, and we didn't get a chance to address it on stream yesterday. He said XRP may hit $20 to $24. It's not a safe long-term investment anymore, but trade it smart. Now, this is funny because
that's a hater. That's a hater right there. That's a hater, right? You got to piss on the party. You know, if you got $20, it's still not safe. You think anybody gives a shit when it's $20, when it's safe or not? You know how many lives that's going to change to $20? I'm sorry, I had to cut in. All right, go back. Sorry.
It's so true, guys. And we are going to talk about the long-term.
He looks like Charles.
We are going to talk about the long-term utility of XRP as well, Johnny. And that's what's so important about this right here. How can a project get to $20 to $24? That would be over $1 trillion in market cap. If we get to these levels of $20 XRP, we're talking about $1 trillion market cap or higher. And he's still saying it's not a long-term investment. We're going to be discussing that, guys. We got 1,530 people watching on YouTube, over 11,700 watching on all platforms. If you're enjoying the show, show us some love. Smash that like button. We are currently at, let me check the live count like right now. We are at 471 likes right now. Well, guys, if we break 800 likes, we're sticking around for a little bit of overtime, and it looks like we're going to get there. So if you want some overtime, smash that like button and let us know in the live chat as well. One's in the chat if you think we get a $20 XRP this cycle. Two's in the chat if you think we stay below that price point. But let's hear what Da Vinci has to say and discuss it. Here we go.
Okay, so where do I think XRP is going in 2025, since it already pumped to some of my targets that I thought it was going to pump in 2025? It did it to $2, almost $3. And I think it's going to go higher. I do believe XRP can get as high as $20, maybe $24 in this next bull run. However, it's still not a cryptocurrency that I suggest you own or buy. You can trade it and make some money, but it is a cryptocurrency about banking system, supporting the banking system for the banking system. Just like the Federal Reserve. They have rules like the Federal Reserve, but all those rules can change at a whim. So if you want to invest in a cryptocurrency that is designed to rob and steal from the people, just like a bank is, go ahead and invest in XRP for the long term. Okay, so
you heard it there, Mario, and I think Johnny summarized it great. That's a hater, right? That's somebody who's like, yeah, we're going to do a 20x in value, but also these are the bad guys. These are the banks. Don't invest in this project. So for me, it's very, very simple. I'm here to profit off the evolution of finance, right? And what we understand is that Ripple has some of the strongest connections in the space. Bank of America is going to be a major topic of discussion for us later in the episode. As at Davos yesterday, their CEO says financial industry will jump into crypto payments if regulators allow it. Well, one thing seems pretty certain yesterday, and we haven't even addressed this yet. Gary Gensler is not chairman of the SEC anymore. Mark Ueda is sitting commissioner. Paul Atkins is set to be the next SEC chairman. So much optimism. The floodgates are going to be unlocked through Donald Trump, through the regulators, and probably eventually through Congress, Mario. What's your reaction to Da Vinci? And then we'll get into some more serious articles.
I mean, so confusing listening to him. It's like, hey guys, you can make a ton of money. You can make 10x literally from the prices, or almost a 10x from the prices that we're at today. So, you know, turn your 10,000 into 100,000, turn your 100,000 into $1 million, but don't invest in it. You know, don't own it, because it's made for the banks, and it's the same thing as the Federal Reserve. Well, I mean, how can, and here's the thing, and I've spoken about this before. The same people who were against XRP for XRP being a banker's coin, and this was a perfect example of what they sounded like over the years, are now extremely excited about Bitcoin being added to the reserve as a strategic reserve play. And so it's like, the one thing that we are seeing for Bitcoin is that the institutional and now government level adoption is what's making Bitcoin a safer asset. And people are excited over this. The Bitcoin maxis are super excited over this. And I don't see the major difference between a technology like XRP that is essentially supporting the evolution of the financial system. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys have said this. I think Johnny said this before. We're crypto maxis. And you just said, Abs, like, we're here to make money. We want to make money in the crypto space. We want to take advantage of this evolution and transition that is taking place. You know, I was way too young to even know what was going on in the .com bubble. As Johnny always says, Abs was in diapers. So we have an opportunity now to take advantage of a .com-like era. And this here could actually be even greater, because of the one thing that we have that's a very big different catalyst is a majority of people have access already to the internet. It wasn't like back then where people didn't have access to the internet. Most people didn't even have computers. So there was that evolution, there was that transition that needed to take place. Now we already have a worldwide adoption of computers, and not just computers, but devices with internet access. So I think that eventually the speed in which crypto gets adopted is going to be exponentially higher than the speed of which the internet got adopted. So I'm excited about that. I mean, why would I not want to change my life and my family's life and potentially my generation's my family generation's life? I mean, that's what I'm here for. Of course, I love XRP. I've been invested in it for a while, but I'm ready to let it go once the prices start to get to make sense. And so that's what it should be all about. It should be all about just utilizing this opportunity to change your and your family's life and potentially your friends, and not really taking the opportunity to do an attack on crypto. Again, I am not seeing much of a big difference. XRP, who's creating solutions, Ripple's creating solutions for banks and institutions, versus how Bitcoin is being adopted. People are excited about the government getting invested in Bitcoin. So I think it's very similar.
I agree, guys. And we're going to talk about mergers and acquisitions as well for Ripple, Johnny. But David Sachs announced something important over the weekend. The war on crypto is over. Sorry, he said the reign of terror against crypto is over, and the beginning of innovation in America for crypto assets has just begun. That's a very strong statement, and that happened on Saturday night during the crypto ball. So we can talk about that later in the show. But this is something else that was circulating, and I think it fits into the entire narrative here, is that Ripple is actively working on acquisitions as XRP is up over 500% in 90 days. Ripple expects to be more active, buying up even more crypto companies. The firm's stablecoin lead says the firm is already getting calls from smaller startups. I'm already in conversations with some startups deciding that this is going to be a hard business to compete in and are already offering to sell their company to Ripple. So we're going to see a lot more of that going forward. And that's where these connections become extremely valuable. There was a great Twitter thread from Austin King, Johnny. He put it out about a week ago where he talked about what Ripple's business model actually is to create a base layer for tokenized assets on the XRP ledger. Love to get some of your thoughts on that. I'm not sure. Maybe I can go back to Mario here. Are you good? All right, Johnny Krypto, floor is yours, and then we'll move into our next topic.
It's funny, Abs, you talked about acquisitions. We talked about that on this show. Could you imagine acquisitions Ripple could have made if they didn't have to spend? The numbers are all over the place, so I'm just going to give a range. Anywhere between 100. Yeah, I'm a little hazy, guys, because my background. We had to make a last-minute move here. So we don't have great background, good lighting here, but you got good, yes. Anyway, so the reality is this.
Abs, are you talking or you're on mute, brother?
What's going on
I
over here?
apologize, guys. I didn't realize I'm muted. Johnny's glitching. The whole thing is a mess right now, but yeah, hold on, Johnny. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to get back into our basis of conversation. I'm going to fix Johnny's audio because, Johnny, your audio is freezing. So that's the issue that we're having right there when you go. I think it might be the green screen in the background. So if you want to remove the green screen, that would help. Now, we are a live program, guys, so we are doing this right in front of you. But the reality is, perfect. Floor is yours, Johnny, and we'll continue.
All right, so you guys can hear me better that way? All right, cool. Yeah, I guess we're sharing the same internet. So, think about what it could have been like if they didn't have to spend $100 to $200 million in attorney fees on a fake freaking lawsuit. How pissed would you be if you got sued by somebody, Abs, that was completely frivolous and it cost you, I don't know, you got a lot of money. So let's say like $100K to $200K just to prove your innocence. That's what we're talking about here. And so the reason why this headline is so exciting is they no longer have to worry about how much more money they have to spend on defending this case. They've already got, we heard Jeremy Hogan yesterday on the show, or Freddie said they already got the $125 million check set aside. That money's there, which means they now know the size of money, the pool they have available to go after and get more acquisitions. And actually, there's a guy out there, his name is Austin King's, Abs. He had actually sold one of his companies to Ripple. And you're going to see a lot more stories. Ripple right now is cash rich, and they're going to go out and make a shit ton of acquisitions in this space. So be ready, folks, for the next year to continue to hear us reporting Ripple bought this company, Ripple bought that company. I'm calling it right now here on Good Morning Crypto on the day after Inauguration Day. You're going to start hearing more and more acquisitions coming because Ripple understands the fastest way to grow is not ground up all the time. Most of the times it's through acquisition.
Mario, what we're waiting on next year, guys, is a crypto executive order coming out of Trump. And that seemed to be a big topic that people were slightly frustrated with. But let's discuss a little bit of Trump coin because a lot of people are calling it a negative catalyst for the crypto market. I share a very different opinion. My belief is this: regardless of what happens to the value of the token over these next 60 days or 6 months or whatever, I think that over these next 3 or 4 years, there's going to be so many new investors who come into the crypto market because Trump, his family, and many of his projects are being promoted everywhere. And this is a little bit of evidence our listeners may not be aware of. So he is associated with a company called World Liberty Financial. And over the weekend, we saw this come out. So Trump launched his crypto token. Melania quickly launched her crypto project as well. But Donald Trump's crypto platform, World Liberty Financial, buys 3 new domain names in the last 24 hours. That is Trump Coin, Eric Trump, and Baron Trump. Now, guys, if I'm going to pick which one's going to be most profitable, the Baron Trump coin is the one I am most optimistic on, Mario. But on a more serious note, I think this highlights just how much things are going to change over these next few years. Not only is the U.S. president going to be actively promoting crypto technologies, he has a financial incentive to do so going forward. So what was your reaction to the Trump coin launching, and how do you feel about these other domain names being filed?
Well, I mean, I obviously, as much like everyone else, I was very surprised. I was very skeptical at the time on Friday night. Once I saw the announcement over on X, I was very skeptical, doubting it. I was thinking that maybe his account got hacked. And I spent about 15 minutes, I think, kind of looking into it, trying to see. And then there was this guy that was at the Crypto Ball who did a video, and he's like, Trump just launched the coin and nobody knows. Only me and this guy know. And I forget what the guy's name is. Otherwise, I'd give him credit. But he's like, nobody knows about the launch of this coin. And then I'm seeing that on Truth Social. He also posted the same thing. So I was like, I let the Academy know. I posted inside the Academy. I was like, guys, I think Trump launched the meme coin, but please be careful. This is still not verified. And yeah, I mean, look, I'm kind of still in shock today. I'm in shock because obviously it was an unexpected event. Obviously, I don't think you could have speculated, maybe the one odd person, but I don't think that it was ever a consensus that Trump would ever release a meme coin. And obviously that shook up the market. And the one thing that I noticed is that the same way that we had in 2021, Elon promote Doge, and we had just Doge completely explode. And a lot of investors who entered the space in 2021, their first investment was Dogecoin. And I think that we're having a 2021 similar type moment this weekend, or we had a similar type moment this weekend, where a lot of new people who enter the crypto space, their first crypto is going to be Trump. And that's going to be the beginning of their journey into the crypto space. And again, this just proves there's really not that much difference between the previous cycles that we've had in crypto to this one. We're still in very high speculative moments. We still have the meme coins. Of course, it's a president of the United States. That adds a completely different energy to the mix, because we can't look back and say, oh, remember that time when Biden released the meme coin and then what happened to the market? Oh, wait, that never happened. This is the first time. So I think the next few months are going to be very telling. We're going to find out exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. It was cool seeing what happened this weekend. I think the one thing that gets me excited is the fact that crypto is really not in a very, the fear and greed index is not at a very high right now. So we have somewhat of a mid-range, potentially fearful time in the market. People are kind of fearful. Oh, is the bull run over? Has Bitcoin topped out? And then yet this weekend we had a whole event and catalyst that created all this secondary excitement in the crypto space. So I think the next few months are going to be exciting, and we're going to see what this is going to create for the space. Obviously, I would have liked to see something different. I think that the World Liberty Financial is an example of how they can create something with utility in the space. The meme coin by Trump, obviously it's the joke. It's that joke side of crypto. It's that meme side of crypto, which a lot of people think it takes credibility away. But at the end of the day, as an investor, think about it. Is it good that a meme coin was launched for the credibility of crypto? Probably not. But is this going to bring in a flood of liquidity into the space and send us into that bullish scenario that we so much keep talking about here on the show, and highs, higher than what we're at today? Most likely. So just capitalize on it. And I know that I'm getting some heat in the chat for talking about selling, but the reality is I will be selling. And then a year from now, we'll check the receipts and we'll look back and we'll say, all right, was I wrong for selling? Was I right for selling? At the end of the day, I don't care about being right or wrong. I just care about winning in the market. And if I'm taking profits, I consider that a win-win.
I agree, Mario. This project went from $7 at the launch all the way to $70. And even still, amidst this pullback, we're trading at $38 today. This thing launched 4 days ago, I believe. So we're just at the beginning, and I think a lot of people should be excited about the future of crypto. I want to read this tweet for a little bit of context here. He stated, the choice was Kamala banning Bitcoin or Trump opening a meme coin casino. A lot of people can't or don't understand this, but thank God we are on this timeline. Now, this is something I couldn't have predicted either, Mario. Trump launching a meme coin is very interesting, but what really stuck out to me is that if Americans, like, imagine this. I think this opens the gate for someone like Elon to launch a project, or someone like Joe Rogan to launch a project, because it's almost like validation by association. If somebody like Donald Trump is willing to launch a project like this and pin his legacy to it, there's going to be other major players who are not only looking to make money, but are kind of excited about these new ideas of how to integrate the crypto economy into their own lives. So it's going to be a big detail. This is something else that was really interesting that happened over the weekend. Brad Garlinghouse and Chainlink's co-founder were at the same event and took this picture together. Chainlink's co-founder commented saying, great conversations at the Trump inauguration committee, candlelight dinner tonight. I see a whole new path for the blockchain industry that simply did not exist just a few months ago. Exciting times for everyone in our industry. I agree. And I found this great information this morning where CoinGecko is now publishing this list of what they consider to be cryptos made in America. So this is the top made crypto list by market cap for United States assets. And our listeners are going to be excited because many of the projects that we talk about every day are at the top of this list. So we got XRP at the top. Then we have Chainlink, we have AVAX, we have Stellar, we have Sui, we have Hedera Hashgraph. DAG Constellation is also an American project. And of course, Solana's here, Mario. And I think Solana, being an American crypto project, is something that we're not yet fully aware of because this thing did not launch inside the United States, but the founder is an American citizen. So we'll have to watch this thing kind of play out. As we look at why Solana and XRP may have a competitive advantage, rumors were circulating last week that President Trump is open to creating an American-first strategic reserve that prioritizes currencies such as Solana and XRP. And this was a big takeaway I had with my interview with John Deaton, is that he does believe President Trump is going to remove capital gains tax on American-made cryptocurrencies because these are commodities, these are currencies, not securities. There's no reason that if Mario pays at Starbucks with his XRP to buy a coffee, that he needs to pay taxes on that transaction, because we don't do that for the US dollar. If we treat these assets like securities, you're going to be taxed when you use it. You're going to be taxed on the sales tax, and you're going to be in a much higher tax bracket, which actually incentivizes people to just use the dollar instead of cryptocurrencies. So it's in the name, Mario, cryptocurrencies. One last thing I want to throw out here is we also had a chance to interview Jeremy Hogan. So kind of building on this same idea, he believes that the CFTC is going to end up regulating 95% of the digital asset space, because when FIT 21 is passed, it gives power. It takes power away from the SEC, gives it back to the CFTC, and we're going to have clear guidelines for what defines a cryptocurrency, what defines a crypto commodity, and what defines a digital security. So huge changes. We may have just spent the last 3 years focusing on the SEC, only to have the government give the CFTC control of regulating the digital asset market. But Mario, what are some of your thoughts here on Solana, XRP, Chainlink, AVAX, Constellation, HBAR? The top performing projects are all American-made cryptocurrencies. Floor is yours.
Yeah, that's the really exciting part. A lot of the projects that we've been talking about here on the show, and a lot of the projects that I am mostly exposed to, they're really getting a spotlight. And it just goes to show that over the years, there's a lot of the other parts of crypto took the attention. There's always going to be narratives, and in the last cycle we had the NFTs that took a lot of attention and liquidity over to that sector, and nobody even talks about NFTs, you know, this time around. And right now we're getting a lot of attention. There's a couple of narratives taking place with AI, and now obviously meme coins are still very relevant, very strong, and Trump just helped fuel that fire with what he did this weekend with the launch of his coin. And I know some people were saying, you know, he didn't do it. Of course he didn't do it directly. It wasn't him that went there and programmed the whole coin, but you know, he had a whole team. He had to give the approval because at the end of the day, it has his name, so he had to give that approval. And so that's the narrative that we're seeing right now. But at the end of the day, I think that everything will lead to utility, and it's going to take some time. And this market probably needs to mature. But I think eventually everything consolidates into the projects that have utility. Everything will consolidate into the projects that are here for the long term. And I think that I've said it before as well. I think that the meme coins are not going anywhere. I think that there is always going to be a market for meme coins, especially because they're very community driven, you know, and especially with public figures. I think that meme coins are really not going to go anywhere. But at the end of the day, I feel like the smart money, the capital, or the liquidity is always going to flow back into those projects that really have good sound foundations. And it's really good to see that we're now entering a phase of the market where we've got a narrative behind all of these American cryptos. And obviously that has to do with the president. That has to do with a lot of the things that he wants to put in place. Again, I think the biggest catalyst, and you know, I've been talking about here on the show how all the roads right now kind of lead to this regulation moment. So as soon as we get this regulation and we get clarity, I think that that's going to be a massive catalyst to unlock a lot of things, not just more capital, potentially more liquidity in the market, but ultimately more confidence so that institutions can now openly play in this game, and they can partner with companies that currently exist, whether it's the Ripple, the Cardanos, and all this different stuff. But they can also start to create solutions because now their lawyers like Attorney Jeremy, they can turn to them and they can say, well, we've got the regulation. It's right here. We know exactly how you can set this up in America. And they're not going to say, hey, listen, you're going to have to set this up in some island offshore somewhere because you can't do it in America. So I think that that's the exciting thing. And I think that we're going to go into a completely different landscape when it comes to crypto. It probably means that this cycle will still somewhat be sort of like how we had the previous cycle, but I think the market will mature, and everything that's happening together with regulation will allow for the market to be more mature going forward.
I agree, Mario. And what we're going to be breaking down next is the base layer for national banking and how XRP has an advantage in this particular category. We're going to break down a longer form interview with Mark Yusko, but there's a couple of clips I'd like to play to give a little bit of context. We do have 16,500 people here. If you're enjoying today's show, show us some love, smash that like button, and get ready for some exciting connections here. When we break 800 likes on YouTube, we are going to do a little bit of overtime, and we're currently at over 700. So thank you so much to everybody who smashed the like button today. Now, Bank of America's CEO says financial industry will jump into crypto payments if regulators allow it. And this was a statement he made yesterday at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. He was asked by the interviewer how the industry's approach to crypto could change given President Trump's enthusiasm about digital currencies. And this is what he had to say. If the rules come in and you make it a real thing where you can actually do business with, you'll find the banking system will come in hard on the transactional side. And that's what I'd like to expand on during the next portion of our episode. We're going to show you a couple of connections here, starting off with Bank of America leveraging Ripple all the way back in 2021.
Another one you like is Ripple. You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird lawsuit against them. And basically, the Ripple's going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents on it. And there's some incredible stuff that's going to be coming out.
Another one you like is Ripple.
So that was a clip that got a lot of attention just a couple of weeks ago. And this is the clip from Bank of America's CEO just yesterday.
1,000 banks. So it's not like there's considered the disaggregation industry.
Let me ask you a separate question now, and Becky's got one back in Washington, but on crypto, we just had Brian Armstrong sitting in the seat that you were in. And obviously there's a lot of excitement about crypto. the banking business, for the most part, has stayed away from crypto. Given President Trump's full-throated support for crypto, do you imagine Bank of America is going to be full on in the crypto business if we have this conversation 12 months, 24 months from now?
I'd separate out this sort of crypto versus stable assets and digital movement of money, because we already move the vast majority of our money digitally. Our consumers do, our companies do. And so the question is, what's the business practice that you have to move another type of currency? So if the rules come in and make it a real thing that you can actually do business with, you will find that the banking system will come in hard on the transactional side of it, non-anonymous, transactional, verified, et cetera, because we have to, because it's just another way our customers are going to.
The other thing we were talking about was the possibility that Bitcoin and some of these cryptocurrencies actually are a threat to the US dollar. Scott Bessent's talked about needing the US dollar to be super powerful.
Yeah.
Is it a threat?
I think there's a whole bunch of dynamics about all the trade and all the consumption of the US consumer and all the stuff that goes on. But I think we do need a strong US dollar.
So Mario, the point was very, very clear. Not only is the banking industry going to come in and leverage these assets, they're going to leverage them for what they were built for, transforming the way that money is transferred across border. That is where crypto really comes into effect. And we've got even more connections that I'm going to expand upon when it comes to Bank of America and Ripple XRP. This is a great tweet put out by Chad Steingraber here. For those who weren't there at the time, the Bank of America was ready to go 100% on the XRP ledger. Then there was a lawsuit dropped by the SEC and the war on crypto began. Now it's over. We won. And in due time, shortly, you will see the results of that win. So again, we have confirmation that not only Bank of America was leveraging this technology, there are rumors that they were doing 100% of their internal transactions on the XRP ledger prior to when the lawsuit was filed here in December of 2020. Now we're in a new day and age. Gary Gensler is no longer the SEC chairman. You are not going to hear that name very often on this show. And now we can start talking about the resolution of the SEC lawsuit coming very soon. So with that being said, floor is yours, Mario, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, I think obviously the next few months we can anticipate it being very positive for crypto, because all of the terror, like David Sachs said during the crypto ball on Friday, the terror on crypto is over. And so what we are expecting over the next few months with the change of the SEC, with the crypto czar David Sachs, is we're expecting for a framework to be created around crypto so that rules are clear, everybody knows exactly how to play in this market, and it should be favorable for the crypto space. Like, that's why crypto has been very bullish since the elections in early November, and that's why Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market, and especially the US-based cryptos, have been doing so well, because it's been moving on the speculation that this year President Trump, along with all the different things that I just outlined, they're going to create a positive environment for crypto. So we're getting closer and closer to that high level of adoption that we've been anticipating, right? We're getting closer to that utility moment. And I really think that even though a lot of these projects have been working towards it, I know that the biggest challenge that they've had is the regulators. The biggest challenge that they had was the fact that in America, it hasn't always been clear how they could operate. And, you know, the innovation and the speed in which their development was going was being slowed down by this big challenge that they were facing in America. So I really think that this will allow for it to speed up and for us to get closer to that utility type moment that we so much anticipate. Like, we talk about here crypto every day, but the reality is we're still in a speculative market. Like, we're still not at a phase where it's full-blown utility. We're still in a phase where a lot of what's happening in crypto is testing environments. It's those initial partnerships that lead to testing to see how these things work. And so we're going to go into a time where utility is then full at play. And we're going to come into a time where all these different sectors of crypto will start moving, and they will start having that utility implemented. And potentially, you know, we're going to get NFTs be spoken about again, because I don't think that there's anything wrong with NFTs. I think NFT, the technology, makes complete sense. I just think that, you know, it was at its early stages, and we're going to have to move towards to the point where it's really being utilized. So it's exciting. Look, it's an exciting year. It's what we've been advocating for a long time on this channel. We had so many conversations during 2022 and even 2023 about why is America doing this? Why are we getting an Operation Choke Point 2.0? Why are they trying to shut these exchanges down? I mean, it was really doubtful for a couple of years. It was very fearful for a couple of years. And we made it. And really, that's the exciting part, is that we made it throughout the worst parts. It's that, like, I think that that was even worse than getting into the space in 2017. Because you got into 2017, it was kind of like, all right, what is this stuff? But then you're starting to connect the dots and you see that Ripple just partnered with MoneyGram. And it's like, okay, like this stuff is going somewhere. But what happened in 2022, 2023, it was literally America attacking crypto. It was really trying to shut exchanges down. It was trying to prevent these technologies from going anywhere. And that was scarier than any other time in crypto. And so it's good to finally be around that corner and to start to have a more positive conversation about how can we bring this technology home, and or at least bring this innovation home in the United States.
And Mario, it goes back to that same concept where American crypto projects are going to have an advantage. And CoinGecko published this list: XRP, HBAR, Chainlink, AVAX. We are in an era of digital asset adoption around the world, and most importantly, here inside the United States. I want to give a massive thank you to Mario and Johnny for being here, guys. Gary Gensler is no longer chairman of the SEC, and we are looking at the next acting chairman. This is Mark Ueda, who will be taking Gary Gensler's position until Paul Atkins is appointed. Now, when Paul Atkins is in there, that's when we can start talking about dramatic change. But maybe this man, Mark Ueda, will get us off to a good start. And Chris Giancarlo, former CFTC chairman, commented this: the American capital markets are in great hands with Mark Ueda as acting chairman of the SEC, a commissioned veteran with experience across Washington. He is smart, competent, and effective. Let's hope he's also trustworthy. He'll immediately begin repairing a sadly damaged agency and bring back into service for American economy to grow and prosper. That is the words that I love to hear, right, Mario? And so we're going to be playing just a very brief clip here of Mark Ueda talking about Gary Gensler's war on crypto and how he's been very outspoken. He disagrees with what Gary's been doing.
Mark Ueda. Mark, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks for being here.
Well, it's great to be here.
What is the SEC doing regarding crypto?
Well, I think our policies and our approach for the last several years have been just really a disaster for the whole industry. We have been setting this policy through enforcement. We've done nothing to provide guidance on it. And as a result, this is being shaped by the courts. And different courts have ruled different ways. I think what this Wells notice is, and while I won't comment on the specifics of this litigation, the Wells, what has gone on is part of a broader frustration with the fact that we have not provided interpretive guidance as to what you can and cannot do. And if you are involved in some sort of securities offering, how you register, how you get regulated as a broker-dealer, how you get registered as an exchange.
So what I think is important about that too, Mario, is what we saw like a couple of months ago. I believe it was JD Vance talking about the war on crypto. And he said the way that Gary Gensler's been regulating this market is that if a project is successful with utility and it gets big enough to be making a lot of money, that's when the SEC comes knocking. But if you launch some sort of a speculative meme coin or some project that you rug pull, those are the projects that somehow they end up missing. Those are the ones that they don't have enough time to regulate. They don't have the assets. They don't have the resources, right? So I do want to give a massive thank you to everybody joining us today. Let us know your thoughts on Gary Gensler resigning, because we're not going to have too much time to talk about this. I got a couple other topics prepared, and we do already have 18,000 people joining us on all platforms. If you're enjoying this show, show us some love. Smash that like button. Massive thank you to Mario and Johnny for joining us today. Now, we are already over 800 likes, but me and Johnny got planes to catch today, guys. So if we break 1,000 likes, we're going to end up doing a little bit of overtime today. We are at 830 likes, but I know Johnny's got to catch a flight. I'll stick around for a little bit of overtime if that is possible, guys. So with that being said, Mario, what do you think about Mark Ueda? Bye-bye, Mr. Gensler. That is exactly what I would say, David. But the point is this. The war on crypto was led by Gary. We can talk about how it's funny and it's great for the industry, but the reality is I don't believe there's going to be any more new cases filed against crypto companies during this next administration, at least ones that are unjustified. Mario, what are some of your thoughts on Gary Gensler leaving and Mark Ueda stepping in as acting chairman?
Well, first of all, Abs, I think I know what you mean, but I don't think the war necessarily was being I don't think the instructions were coming from Gary, right? I think the instructions were coming from somewhere else. And obviously Gary was just the person who was actively looking as the leader because he was suing Ripple and then suing all these different exchanges. I think that Gary, again, I'm going to continue to say, I don't think he was acting from his own agenda and his own belief system. I think he was acting from the instructions that he was receiving. And I think the previous administration was just very anti-crypto. And it was not an administration that was willing to even entertain listening to what the crypto space had to say, listen to what any of these crypto projects had to say, the exchanges and the direction in which this technology is going. And I think the biggest piece of the puzzle here is the administration changed. And with the administration changing, these positions are being replaced, and the replacements for these positions are more crypto friendly, I guess I could say. And they're going to create better rules as far as crypto, and they're going to create a more positive environment so that crypto can not only exist in America, but thrive in America. And really, that's the thing that I believe will be key. Again, Gary Gensler could have been the type of regulator that came into the SEC and decided not to do anything, decided not to make the Ripple case worse, decided not to go after Coinbase, decided not to go after Kraken, Crypto.com, all these different projects, but he did. And so that's what made it a lot worse, was the fact that he was going after all these different exchanges. He wasn't creating any clarity. He was actually creating confusion. And that's what makes me believe that he really wasn't the person calling the shots, right? Somebody was just pulling the strings, and Gary Gensler was the face that you saw when he was doing that, because he kept getting asked very clear questions. Do you think Ethereum is a security? Oh, we can't comment on specifics. And it's like, that creates even more confusion for the space. And it's even more confusion as well when you have companies like Coinbase who actively sought to get clarity, and they didn't, and then instead they got a lawsuit. So that really exposed the agenda on what happened over the last administration. But I'm glad that those times are over. I'm glad that we continue to believe in this technology, and we continue to believe that despite what America was making it seem, that was not going to be the final outcome. And I think that we're getting close to finding out what the final outcome is. And obviously, we're going to be here talking about it on this channel. So it was hard coming on here and talking negatively. We're now going to have the pleasure of talking positively over the next few months. I love you guys. I do have to run. Have an awesome day.
All right, Mario. We love you, brother. Be good. And by the way, just so you know, to answer your question of who gave that order, we had our investigative reporter, Tony Canoli, do some research. And we're going to bring that to you guys at a later time. And he uncovered the story, Mario, of who gave those orders. But getting to your topic, we love you, Mario. Have a good one. In terms of the whole topic of Mark Ueda, you asked, now taking over and, until Paul gets there, replacing Gary. I would have told you up until yesterday, I would have said, this is fantastic news. It's great. And I would have said, this is wonderful. We're moving in the right era. And then we had Gary on the show. I mean, not Gary. We had Jeremy and Freddie on the show, and we all learned something new. We learned that if the FIT 21 bill gets passed, as is, 95%, this is just an estimate, but about 90 to 95% of the cryptos will be governed by the CFTC and not the SEC. So the reality is, all this time we've been worried about the SEC, but if that FIT bill goes through, that's now going to change. And it doesn't matter who the SEC chair is anymore is going to be. All we're going to be caring about, and all anybody's going to be talking about, Abs, is the CFTC. And right now, we know that the head of the CFTC, Trump appointed in temporary position, what's her name, Flom, I think, she has not been crypto friendly. So we might be right back in the same boat that we just were 4 years ago if she doesn't get replaced. But again, Trump hasn't named somebody yet. So now, to be honest with you, because of the potential of FIT 21 bill out there and getting passed, we now need to keep an eye on who is going to be the CFTC. That might be the single most important nomination now going forward from Trump. So, yes, I just did educate you, Jamal. I hope you get it. But because of the fact that 90% of these cryptos could end up, keyword could, don't go away right away. Oh, Johnny said this. No, could. It means if the FIT 21 bill that is in Congress today, if it gets passed in the next 2, 3, 6, 9, 1 year months, right, in front of us coming, then that's going to hand the power of crypto oversight from the SEC into the hands of the CFTC. So then I ask you, does it matter who the hell is sitting at the SEC as the chairman if they don't have any power over crypto? No, I'll give you the answer. It doesn't matter. But that is all dependent and hinges on if the FIT 21 bill gets passed. So all you people in the chat, keep an eye on the FIT 21 bill. See if that gets passed. See if it gets passed the way it's currently written. If it does, then all we care about is the head of who's going to be the head of the CFTC.
I agree, Johnny. And let's expand on the conversation we had with John Deaton too, because John Deaton actually made the case that Trump is going to remove capital gains tax on American crypto projects. Because if we're going to use XRP in the grocery store, at Starbucks or whatever, you can't be taxed for transferring a security, right? That's a currency transaction. I'm giving you XRP so you can give me a black coffee, right? So there's no securities transaction happening there. And that's what John Deaton highlighted from a lawyer's perspective about how that's not only going to change, that is going to change for a lot of digital assets. And here are a couple of them. I'm going to break this down, and then we're going to show you a video that probably every single one of our listeners has never seen before. We're going to show you a video of JD Vance shaking hands with Brad Garlinghouse and having some fun discussions. And then we'll close it out with a Mark Yusko clip at the end. We are already over 1 hour into the program, guys. We're committed to some overtime. You broke the 800 likes. We're going to do a few extra minutes for you. Johnny's going to be running late to his flight. So big shout out to Johnny. And of course, I'm joking, guys.
Not too many minutes. Not too many minutes. Just a few.
We'll keep it short. If we break 1,000, we're going to have to extend it, guys. I'm not sure how many likes we're at right now. But
hey, Abs, give me a second. Let me clear one thing. Somebody said they just heard that Caroline Pham was sworn in as the chairman. That is partially correct. She was sworn in as the acting chairman, or chairwoman in this case, not the full-time. So, guys, just for the record, what we're saying is right now, she's the acting chair, but we're hoping Trump is going to nominate a new chair, and that's what we're waiting for. Sorry, Abs, continue. I just want to get that clear because people were confused.
Right, and that person did comment acting chair, so they capitalized acting as well. They were correct with their initial
comment.
comment.
It was a person above it.
No, wait, I'm building up to.
It wasn't that person.
Okay, but what I was building up to is that they also said she is pro-crypto. That's debatable, guys. So we'll have to talk about it. She did visit Ripple. She's been very pro-XRP. She's made some very positive statements about utility tokens. So I thought that was kind of just relevant because the first part of that quote is true. The second part about her being pro-crypto may not necessarily be true, but I don't know if we'll have enough time to debate it during today's episode. Quick reminder, smash that like button if you want additional overtime. What I was building up to here, guys, is the removal of capital gains tax on American crypto assets. There is a list out there on CoinGecko right now where HBAR, XRP, Chainlink, AVAX, XLM, and DAG Constellation are all considered American crypto assets. Now, Solana is also considered an American crypto asset. I'm sure that has to do with the leadership of their company being American, even though they may have IPO'd somewhere else. But Johnny, any quick thoughts there on John Deaton kind of making the case that even though he's not a huge believer in Trump, not as much as I am or not as much as you are, I'm pretty sure, but he did believe that Trump was going to do some very positive things for crypto. And this was one of his top 3 things he believes Trump will get done.
Yeah, he did. He definitely felt, you heard him say on the show yesterday, he thought the pendulum was going to swing too far the other way now. It may overswing to the right, and I think he's a little cautious and worried about that. But I got to be honest with you, Abs, considering that we've been swung so far to that side, I'm actually happy. We just a little overswing on the other side. John's more in the middle, and John wants to see, but I do think he believes some things will happen that are good for this industry, and we really need it because at the end of the day, what Trump really cares about is what David Sachs said. David Sachs said, innovation now begins. That's what Trump cares about. Trump wants to go out to the American people and say, look what I did. I brought you jobs. I pumped up the economy. And that's what he's going to be able to do if he creates a pro-innovation environment.
I totally agree with that.
That's where we're headed, my friend.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to see a lot more pro-crypto statements being made from Trump's team over these next few weeks. People were expecting an executive order to be passed. He did say that there was supposed to be one past day one. So my belief is yesterday was not necessarily day one. Today is day one. And he did sign over 78 executive orders yesterday. Let's wait and see if we get a crypto update here. But what I was going to talk about next is the connection that Mark Yusko had broken down. We got 20,000 people here. Many people have not seen this clip yet. We're going to be breaking down 2 major topics to end the show. Now, first of all, I'm trying to get this tweet out right now so I can actually play the video on air. This is going to be the JD Vance and Brad Garlinghouse tweet where were at the Trump event on January 19th, and JD Vance enters the event, sees Brad Garlinghouse, walks right up to him and shakes his hand. And to me, it indicates one thing. They know each other. They've talked to each other. They probably have a relationship in some way, shape, or form. And remember way back in the day, Johnny, it was February of 2024, which may as well be 10 years ago at this point. JD Vance was standing in front of a team. I believe this is at, I'm not going to guess where it was, but this is in front of a large group of men who are all wearing suits. And he's talking about how the war on crypto has been led by Gary Gensler and how Gary Gensler was regulating by enforcement. But more importantly, he was attacking utility projects and letting speculative projects flourish.
First person, in my view, at least in terms of my substantive disagreements, I'm sure he's like a nice guy, is Gary Gensler. Okay, so Gary Gensler is sort of the complete opposite of my view. And there are two problems that I have with Gary. One of which is that I think he wants to inject politics way too much into the actual business of securities in the United States of America. But in some ways, the more fundamental issue, or at least the most relevant issue for this particular conference is the approach that Gary has taken to regulating blockchain and crypto seems to be almost the exact opposite of what it should be. And I'm oversimplifying a little bit, but the question the SEC seems to ask in regulating crypto is this a token with utility? And if it's a token with utility, then they seem to want to ban it. And if it's a token without utility, they don't seem to care. I almost think we should be the opposite here, right? I worry about financialization. I worry about, frankly, whether a lot of the crypto stuff is fundamentally fake. But if a token actually has utility, that's the sort of thing that, by all means, regulate it. By all means, be careful about, how consumers interact with it. But you don't want to just get rid of this stuff. And here's where I really, really worry about this is.
There you go, Johnny Krypto. So that's why it's so important. It's not just our opinion. It's JD Vance's opinion that Gary Gensler was responsible for regulating by enforcement and also attacking the projects that became successful. Floor is yours, and then we'll get into our last topics for today.
Well, that's exactly what he did. JD's not wrong. He basically attacked the industry because he was told by his boss to attack the industry. So he did it. And I think that's the problem here. And when we look at where we are today, we know that Trump is not going to. I mean, listen, for heaven's sakes, Abs, he freaking launched the meme coin. He launched the meme coin himself on Sunday. So if Trump is launching a coin, it's going to be kind of hard. What does that tell you when the president is launching? I know a lot of people have an issue with it, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, one of the things it tells you, like, well, listen, if he launched a meme coin, you can't sue any meme coin at this point. If freaking president launches his own, what's he going to do? Sue other meme coins and then let his own stay out there? I mean, you can't do that, especially as the president. You have too much visibility. So it almost signals like everything is free reign. There is going to be no rain anymore. It's going to be free reign. That's the only rain we're going to see now is free reign on all crypto. And so you're basically going to be able to do anything. Now, we'll see where the regulation pulls that in at some point. But to me, it's like he just signaled to the world, like, hey, it's okay to release a coin. And I think that we're going to but I do think at some point we do need to rein it in and kind of put some guidelines and rules about what is and how we're going to go about and play and register and all that. But for now, it's going to be very, very interesting to see where it goes until we get some guidelines. And now you cannot go and attack crypto when you've launched your own coin. That's very, 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 very suspect if you do that. And I don't think Trump will do that because I don't think he wants to paint that picture.
Oh my gosh, Brad Garlinghouse just tweeted out a picture with JD Vance as we're talking about this topic. I'm going to show it on screen, but I'll just read it here for our listeners. I just tweeted out.
Getting to that, yeah. Oh, sorry, Abs, go ahead.
He said, still riding high from the inauguration events in D.C. this weekend, from the crypto ball to the VP dinner to the President of the United States dinner to sitting in Capitol Hill yesterday. There's palpable excitement for all good that's possible leveraging crypto and blockchain here inside the U.S. finally and globally. Congratulations to JD Vance and Donald Trump. I'm going to share that tweet in the background, Johnny, but what's your initial reaction here?
Oh, listen, my reaction is they are working it and getting inside the White House. They want to get as close to Trump as they can. Shit, if they could be his jacket, they'd be on him like a jacket. That's how close that they want to be to him. And you got to understand, Brad has basically been under attack for the last 4 years by the prior administration. You think he hasn't learned his lesson? He's like, you know what? Maybe I need to get a better job getting closer to this administration. And man, he's so damn close to it. You saw what happened. I don't know if we were able to play the video, but we saw it. The minute JD Vance walked in the room, what does he do? He just jets right over to Brad and shakes his hand. Let me tell you, you don't do that for just anybody. There's some smoke there, my friend. And when there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that's a very, very good thing.
Absolutely agree, Johnny. We're going to play this video right now. You're going to have to bear with me through the minimal delays here and just give me a second before I respond because we're so close to each other on the same Wi-Fi. There is a minimal delay. Now, we are going to play this short video, guys. This is Brad Garlinghouse and JD Vance shaking hands during President Trump's event on the 19th. And as you can tell, here's JD Vance. He enters the event. There is Brad Garlinghouse. And of course, Brad also just tweeted the confirmation that he's excited and he has a relationship with these guys. And I'm sure that they've had many in-depth conversations about what's being built, but I'll read it one more time for our listeners. Still riding high from the inauguration events in DC this weekend, from the crypto ball to the VP dinner, to the president of the United States dinner, to sitting in Capitol Hill. There's palpable excitement for all the good that's possible leveraging crypto and blockchain here inside the US finally and globally. Congratulations to JD Vance and Donald Trump. It is a new day and age in America. It's a new day and age for crypto assets, but it's relationships like this you don't really see from the other crypto project, Johnny, right? Some of these other ones may be labeled as American crypto assets. Some of them may even have some sort of a relationship to members of the United States government, but almost no crypto projects have their CEO standing next to the vice president. There is one that stands alone. That is the Michael Jordan of crypto CEOs, Brad Garlinghouse, guys. So, Johnny, I'd love to get your reaction here. What do you think about the statement in the picture now that you're kind of seeing it live? Brad Garlinghouse sitting here one day into Trump's inauguration, tweeting out a picture with the vice president, shaking hands with him when he didn't know he was being recorded. Now we're going to see these ideas that we've been speculating on, that we've been discussing and trying to predict. All of these ideas are coming to fruition. We are 12 minutes into overtime, guys. I want to be respectful of Johnny's time, so we are going to have to wrap this up very, very soon. Let us know what you think in the live chat. Are you more optimistic than ever, not only about Trump, but about JD Vance and Brad Garlinghouse relationship? Give me some conspiracies. Give me some thoughts in the chat so we can incorporate it. We're going to hear from Johnny, address the user poll, and wrap it up for today. I would love to break 1,000 likes, guys. If we can break 1,000 likes during this live stream, that would be a phenomenal accomplishment for us all, kind of celebrating this Washington, D.C. trip. We are only 19 likes away. We're at 981 likes. Smash that like button, especially if you enjoy the show. And I want to give a shout out to Julie Taff. She says, very optimistic. I feel the same way. Shout out to you, Johnny Krypto. Floor is yours.
You know what? As a CEO myself of Merlin, right? The reality is you're always trying to make sure you're building relationships and partnerships. And look at Brad, how proud he is, right? Dude, the smile on his face right there says it all. He's so happy that. Let me ask you a question, Abs. How many pictures do you see with him and Biden? Wow, that took you a long time. How many do you see with him and Kamala? Zero. Exactly. There's zero relationship there. There was nothing there, under the gun, under attack. It's a whole new world. It is going to be so different for Ripple as a company. They have worked their way in, Abs. And I'm saying at the highest freaking level. They have a direct line. You don't think they don't have his phone number? You don't think you don't think he has a way to get in touch with JD Vance if he needs to? He absolutely does. They probably swap phone numbers. And the reality is, not only am I excited for XRP, the technology, but boy, I'm actually really excited for Ripple, the shares. If for those of you who bought IPO shares for the company, I will not be surprised if we see a launch. They will launch their IPO probably this year during the bull run or somewhere during it. And it's going to be amazing because they're going to, want to maximize that. So I just think overall, there's a lot of good things in the air for Ripple, for Brad, the whole company, and XRP Abs. You cannot be more bullish than this when you have a direct relationship with look at them, they're even talking with the president. Or I'm sorry, he's heading over there now. But I mean, literally, it's just, you could tell there's something going on there. And that is a very, very good thing.
Listen, I think Donald Trump said it best. He said, we're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. The predictions we've had in the Good Morning Crypto community, not only through us, me, Johnny, Gonzo, Mario, but through the live chat as well, has been phenomenal, right? And we're seeing a lot of these ideas, a lot of the things that we've forced to speculate on come to fruition. We are playing the video that I was talking about, Johnny. JD Vance walks up to Garlinghouse, shakes his hand, and it's not like they said anything. It's very casual interaction.
Well,
but
they're
there's
talking right
something
here. They were talking right there. He shook his own hand. He shook the hand. Then he shook the third guy's hand, and he said for a while, "It's going to be very good. Trust me, we're going to win. You're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of winning too." That's what he said, probably in Trump's words. You heard it. You can see, you can see it there. He actually was talking to him. Look, they spent a little bit of time there talking.
And it's interesting too, because JD Vance is somebody who almost had no media attention 12 months ago. Now he's like the most powerful guy in the room. So I did want to give a shout out. It looks like Stuart Alderati also just tweeted out an update. So let's check that before we wrap up today's show. If you enjoyed the stream, guys, show us some love. Smash that like button. I am still in Washington, D.C. And look at this, guys. He doubled down. Johnny, Stuart Alderati also posted a picture with JD Vance, and he stated this. Couldn't have said it any better than Brad Garlinghouse. This administration understands our industry and the law. So refreshing, guys. I think we should have fireworks in the background. That's why I have this background schedule.
If I didn't have the like button wasn't packed up right now, I'd be smashing that thing. This is a major. I'm telling you, dude, it's so big what they're building here behind. These guys know. These guys, they screwed up in the beginning. They did not have a good relationship with the prior administration. They made sure that wasn't going to happen this time. And his words are right there on the screen. He knows they're in the right place at the right time. The days of, and then they fight you are over. The days of then they join you are here. With that said, my friend, I got to get going. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And, well, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Oh, for me anyway.
Absolutely, guys. I want to give a huge thank you to Johnny. It's been an awesome trip. Wish him good luck on his flight. And like I said, as I was tweeting this video out, Brad Garlinghouse just confirms it with another image right here. So I'm just going to address the user poll. I want to give a massive thank you to every single person who joined us today. We're excited to be doing this content, guys. It's great that Donald Trump won. It's great that he's been embracing crypto. But most importantly, it's great that our live chat, our listeners, you're optimistic. You're probably wealthier than you were just a couple of months ago. So much optimism and so much good energy in the air. That's what we want to provide here on Good Morning Crypto. Now, the question we asked our live chat today is, will the XRP ledger be utilized by national banks in America? 93% said yes. I would also vote yes on this poll because it's undeniable, guys. Bank of America was testing this technology. Brad Garlinghouse is building new relationships every day. Santander, Standard Chartered, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Bank of America, you name the billion-dollar company, Ripple in some way, shape, or form has either had a meeting with them or is associated with them through relationships. But this picture right here pretty much summarizes the event overall. Brad Garlinghouse, Stuart Alderati, both doubling down on the relationship, not only with Donald Trump, but to JD Vance. And I do think it's kind of interesting that they both took pictures with the vice president and published them at almost the exact same time. Was there a conversation? Is there an announcement coming? These are the things that I enjoy speculating on. I would love to hear what the live chat is thinking here as well. And I am going to be providing this update on my Twitter. So if you guys haven't, check out my Twitter, become a subscriber. I give a massive thank you to Linda. I want to thank every single person who has become a subscriber to the Twitter. It is less than a Starbucks cup of coffee a month, and you get a bunch of behind-the-scenes access. I try to provide some informed updates, and any of the private conversations that I can't share on my major social, I do share with my subscribers. So don't get me in trouble and reshare that information, guys. We got 21,300 people here. If you enjoyed today's program, show us some love. Smash that like button. I want to give a shout out to 68J. I saw his comments in the chat as well. I lost it. I want to pull it up, but this live chat scrolled too fast. So a massive shout out to 68J. Hopefully we'll be seeing many of you guys in XRP Las Vegas. We also have our Freedom Conference coming up beginning of November. Me and Johnny are going to be back in Arizona with Coach JV, Gonzo, Jackie, all of our favorites. So I can't tell you how excited I am to be back with everybody again. We always level up, guys. I'm sure we'll figure out a way to make this show better, make this community better, and of course, help you all make a bunch of money in the process. Now, if you enjoyed today's show, smash that like button. I am going to bring it home for today. This person said, oh my God, Arizona. I will be in Arizona, guys, always. Phoenix, Arizona. It's a super fun conference. If you've never been, It's a really enlightening thing. We go through crypto, we go through personal development, we talk a little bit about stocks, how to preserve your wealth, and of course, insurance policies as well. It's great. And we have the greatest community of all the communities. We're going to make it great again, guys. Massive thank you to every single one of you for joining us today. We're going to close it out with a little bit of rock music to kind of bring this thing home. I want to give a huge thank you. We did break 1,000 likes during today's live stream. If you enjoyed the show, show us some love. Smash that like button. We're going to be back tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be traveling home. We'll have an episode in the morning talking about the government connections that I find out at this event. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you in 23 hours. And like we always say, Warriors, get your shit together, baby. Thank you for joining us.